Let all cats old enough to catch their own prey gather here beneath the podcast for a clan meeting. Welcome to Paws and Clause, a podcast where we read the Warrior Cats books in chronological order. I'm Scout, joined by my co-host and busiest bee, Jill, and today we will be reading and discussing The Prophecies Begin, Book 4, Rising Storm, and the first 2 volumes of the Tigerstar and Sasha manga, Into the Woods and Escape from the Forest.
Into the woods, sorry. I couldn't resist.
Oh, that really got me. I was just listening to Sondheim earlier today, so that one really, you know your audience on that one.
I do.
Hi, Jill.
Hi, Scout. Calling me
How
out
you
for
been?
being so goddamn busy.
You're just so busy all the
I'm
time,
so
and I feel
busy.
bad.
I mean, it's like a good kind of busy.
It's a good kind of busy.
It's all stuff I enjoy, but like, I'm also looking at myself like, when did this happen? How did we go from nothing to like every single day there is something? I literally wrote a 5,000 word fic in the past week.
Damn.
For this event that I'm helping to run. One of the writers like straight up ghosted, and the artist had already finished their piece, and I'm like, well, I can write a piece for it. And they were like, really? You can get it done by Christmas? I was like, yeah, I can get it done by Christmas.
I can, in fact, get it done by December 3rd.
I was like, actually, you know what? If I focus, I can get it done before the event ends, and no one has to know.
You know, if you focus, you can really do anything that you put your mind
It's
to.
amazing. Yeah.
It's amazing what happens when the ADHD lets you hyper-focus. Sometimes good, sometimes bad. You know, you take it as you gotta.
Because it do sometimes be bad.
It do sometimes be bad. But I'm glad that you are busy in a positive way. That's always really nice. When you're busy and it's like, I hate how busy I am, and like I don't want to be doing the things that I'm busy with, that's the worst.
Yeah.
How has the prey been running for you?
The prey's been running all right. Today we were bad and we ordered dinner.
Hey, it's a Sunday.
It is a Sunday, and I start a new job tomorrow, so we were like, you know what, fuck it.
That's the Lord's day of rest.
Yeah, so we watched Catching Fire and had fried chicken. It was delicious.
Hell yeah.
What about you? Have you been eating anything good lately? I know we had a recent food holiday. I went to my aunt and uncle's for Thanksgiving. We had a lot of delicious food.
Yes. My family for Thanksgiving, it's because I have 3 brothers, but they are all much older than me and have their own families with 2 children per brother.
Right.
And they live far away. So generally, my mom and dad and I are on our own for Thanksgiving. So we have started doing essentially an all Sidesgiving, which is when you do Thanksgiving, but instead of turkey, because a turkey is a lot for 3 people, you just make all the side dishes.
Can I come next year?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
The side dishes are the best part to me, anyways.
I agree.
I know. I think
I like
this is
turkey.
a very controversial.
I like turkey, but I
turkey
definitely
is fine.
prefer the sides.
Turkey is fine, but I will just eat an entire plate of stuffing and be happy.
God, yeah. God, yeah. Oh my gosh, my dad, he makes a stuffing with breakfast sausage and dried cranberries in it.
Oh, hell yeah.
Dude, it's so good.
Hell yeah.
Oh, I love it. It's so yummy.
Oh, that sounds good. Yeah, you love to have, and the cranberries very thematic.
Mm-hmm. I also made some spaghetti and meatballs this week, and it was very delicious.
Literally 2 nights ago, Dad made spaghetti and meatballs, and we had spaghetti and meatballs. So look at that. You know, look at us.
Look at us. Wait, Friday night? You had spaghetti and meatballs?
Friday night, we had spaghetti and meatballs.
Oh my God, that's when we had our spaghetti and meatballs.
Oh my God, Friday night spaghetti.
Incredible.
Flat fuck Friday, but it's about
but
spaghetti.
It's about spaghetti.
I don't know.
False fettuccine Friday.
False fettuccine Friday.
Oh, man.
I'm calling it that forever from now on. Why does false fettuccine sound like a false prophet?
I agree. That's the title they're gonna give me in my cult.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh man, oh man, oh man. So I noticed you put a lovely Polish cover in here. It's
as usual. It fucks so hard. The Polish cover for Rising Storm is at the very bottom is a small painting of Yellowfang sort of walking through ash and flame, sort of coming towards us, and then looming over her is this huge, beautiful portrait of Tiger Claw with like the scars all over his face, and he's got the little shittiest like cat smile with these squinting eyes, and he looks so evil and cool, and he's underlit by the fire that's at the bottom. It's really good.
Yeah, I like it a lot. Of course, we love all the Polish covers.
I know every time I'm like, okay, but the Polish cover for this one is so good. It's so good, guys.
Let's see. Oh, I started playing the Wildwood demo.
Oh, yes. Tell me about it.
I did not get very far, but it seems like it is a lot more streamlined than original Cattails was.
That's nice. That's cool.
Because I feel like I remember when I was playing the original Cattails, the controls were a little janky sometimes.
I remember struggling a lot with the fighting, which isn't that surprising because, like, the thing that I think it is most comparable to is Stardew Valley, and that also took me, like, the whole first run that I ever did of Stardew Valley to really be able to
fight, yeah.
To, like, do combat. And even now, I've played hundreds of hours of Stardew Valley, and those goddamn dragons will still run into me when I'm in the caves.
Yeah, no. I did not get to any fighting quite yet. But I had to stop due to something else going on. I had to, like, do something else. And so I had to stop. But I look forward to playing more. I've also been playing, and I think this has been over the past couple weeks when we haven't recorded, I've been playing a lot of Wingspan on Steam.
Yes! Oh, I have to buy Wingspan so we can play Wingspan together. I'm so excited about this.
Oh, I love it. It's such a fun game.
It's so good.
I'm doing like an asynchronous play online with people too. So, like,
oh, that's sick.
Every, like, day or so, I just make one move. So it's going to take, like, 5 years to finish. But
I love
it's
that.
also very fun.
Yeah, it's nice to just, like, check in with your birds.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Wingspan. I got to pick that up. We got to play together.
I love it. I have the physical version, but I've not gotten yet to play the physical version, so I'm just enjoying the digital while I can.
Oh, yeah. Coincidentally, in basically the same time span that you've been getting into it online, my parents purchased it recently because they had heard about it from one of my brothers, and so then we've been playing it also. The three of us, just like grannies in our dining room, playing Wingspan.
I love that for you guys.
It's so much fun. It's great.
It's a fun game. I definitely suggest folks, if you're into, like, first of all, if you're into birds, because, like, birds.
Because is birds.
It's birds. But if you are into, like, playing a strategy without necessarily needing to be affected by other people's strategies.
That's one of the things that's really nice about the game is it's a multiplayer game, but kind of solo strategy.
Yeah, it's like solo strategy, and you're all just kind of seeing who can get the most points rather than like a game like Evolution, which I love, where it is mostly solo strategy, but you are also trying to fuck everyone else over. So yeah, I really have been digging it a lot.
Hell yeah.
Itches all the good parts of my brain.
Yeah, it's really fun in that it's after the initial hurdle for like me of any board game of just learning the rules, it's pretty straightforward. However, it can be like all of the rules end up being applied in really different and interesting ways.
Yeah.
So every game feels unique. And there's lots of different strategies that you can kind of decide to hone in on. For instance,
and there's a lot of fun synergy you can get into.
Yes. One of my favorite strategies is when I use the entirety of the fourth round to lay eggs.
Oh, God.
At which point I have so many eggs. Each egg is worth a point.
Yeah. Very smart. But yeah, the synergy is what I really like, because that's like one of the things I've been enjoying a lot about doing different Baldur's Gate builds is like finding the synergy.
Makes brain go burr.
Yeah, it's like a puzzle. I love it.
Yes, it is like a little puzzle.
It makes me so happy.
It's
you know what
so
also makes me happy? Fucking warrior cats.
Warrior cats! This was a good book to read.
I agree. It was very
Rising
fun.
Storm was good to read. The manga was fine. We'll get it.
We'll get into that.
It's fine.
It's okay. It's
fine. But before we get into our in-depth discussion, I will paint us a word picture and take us through the summary. While ThunderClan recovers from the shock of Tigerclaw's betrayal, we briefly see across the Thunder Path into the heart of ShadowClan territory, devastated by prey sickness. Their overdrawn medicine cat, Running Nose, interprets an omen from StarClan while tending to a very ill Night Star. He watches an owl blot out the starlight and realizes that his clan will soon achieve glory, but only after devastating sacrifice. Meanwhile, Fireheart struggles to adjust to life as ThunderClan's deputy. With his appointment to the position plagued by code violations and the confidence of his clan leader shaken deeply by his predecessor's treachery, he is faced with adversity from every angle. Blue Star, her spirit broken by recent events, refuses to fulfill her usual duties as leader, putting even more on the shoulders of Fireheart and her senior warriors. Her growing paranoia is exacerbated after a Wind Clan patrol prevents her from visiting the Moonstone for counsel with StarClan. She coldly turns away 2 Shadow Clan warriors seeking asylum from their clan's diseased camp. But Cinderpaw, now Cinderpelt, treats them in secret near the edge of their territory, much to Fireheart's chagrin. As the new leaf sun beats down mercilessly on the forest, Fireheart must also contend with Cloudpaw, his headstrong nephew, who has begun sneaking off during his apprenticeship to receive food and affection from Two Legs. Fireheart tries to instill in him the same loyalty he himself feels to his forest home, but Cloudpaw expresses incredulity around the concepts of StarClan and the Warrior Code. When the headstrong apprentice is captured and taken away by housefolk, his uncle fears he may have chosen the life of a kitty pet for good, but not long after his disappearance, our old friend Ravenpaw appears with news of Cloudpaw's whereabouts. Fireheart, along with Sandstorm, to whom he's been growing closer, set off on a rescue mission and break the apprentice out of Housecat jail. While he still harbors his doubts about the ways of clan life, Cloudpaw asserts with certainty that ThunderClan is where he wishes to be and redoubles his training efforts upon his return. Not long after this, a ThunderClan patrol is attacked, resulting in the death of the warrior Running Wind. It appears at first that he was killed by one of the 6 ShadowClan warriors Cinderpelt was harboring, but in his pursuit, Fireheart discovers the true culprit, Tigerclaw and his rogues. Tigerclaw's cats are driven off when a passing RiverClan patrol, headed by Greystripe, comes to ThunderClan's aid, but the exile pledges to bring ruin upon Fireheart before he disappears into the undergrowth. Before Fireheart has had a chance to breathe and to process the confrontation with his foe, chaos sets in again. Lightning strikes the bone-dry forest and fire rages through ThunderClan's territory. The clan flees to the safety of the river, but in the chaos of the evacuation, Yellowfang is trapped in the burning camp as the storm finally breaks. Fireheart, accompanied by Greystripe, later returns to look for her once the rain extinguishes the flames. Though he is able to share parting words with his old friend, Yellowfang cannot recover from the smoke inhalation and ascends to StarClan. Yellowfang's passing drives Blue Star even further toward her breaking point, and she denounces StarClan, slipping into complete dereliction of her duties. Fireheart works with senior warrior Whitestorm to shield the clan from just how badly their leader is doing. They organize the rebuilding of ThunderClan's camp, rendered unrecognizable by the fire's devastation, and they choose the patrol for the gathering, which they attend despite the clan's disarray and Blue Star's refusal to participate. As Fireheart readies to address all the clans in his leader's stead, his thoughts are interrupted by the arrival of ShadowClan and the terrifying news they bring. Nightstar is dead, and his successor is Tigerclaw. In Tigerstar and Sasha, we follow the house cat Sasha's journey of self-discovery after her elderly owner is forced to leave her behind when he moves into a nursing home. Distraught and confused, she decides to venture into the forest and attempt life as a loner. There, she stumbles into meeting a forest cat named Tigerstar, who, while initially hostile, seems to take a liking to her, and begins visiting her nightly. The two argue over Sasha's past, with her defending her life as a kitty pet, while Tigerstar denies her words and says she must never speak of it if they are to be together. He brings Sasha to ShadowClan to show her the ways of clan cats, and eventually asks her to join. But when she overhears a conversation outlining the sinister side of himself that he hides from her, she refuses, leaving with his insults echoing in her mind. She is nothing. Determined to prove him wrong, but feeling utterly alone, Sasha travels back to Two Leg Place and, after making peace with the passing of her former owner, goes further afield, eventually stumbling into life as a ship cat on a rundown day cruise. Her presence is a good luck charm for the ship's captain, as she captivates the customers, drums up business, and even saves the ship from a pair of rowdy would-be arsonists. She helps rescue another young cat, whom the captain names Patch, and through these adventures, she proves to herself and to the Tigerstar in her memories that she can make a positive difference in the world. When winter sets in and the cruise shuts down for the season, Sasha decides to stay behind instead of going south with Patch and the captain. She's about to have kits, conceived during her time with Tigerstar, and she wants them to be born and live in the place that feels like home. So, with a last goodbye, she makes her way back to the forest.
Oh boy.
We got a lot to cover here.
A lot happened today, I will say.
Thinking about how we cover both a devastating forest fire and a boat cruise in this episode.
I know.
I really wasn't expecting the boat cruise plot twist of the Tigerstar and Sasha. I know nothing about the Tigerstar and Sasha manga, but Rising Storm is
a very fun book.
It's a good book. I think it is a highlight of the original arc.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of, it is setting the stage for the last two books so perfectly. Because we get the start of Blue Star's, we are seeing Blue Star's descent.
Yeah.
We are seeing the sort of tensions rising between the clans. We are seeing, the fucking devastation that is about to happen is nicely foreshadowed here. And there's just it just feels like it is setting up everything very, very perfectly. And on top of all this, you have poor fucking Fireheart, who is hot off the heels of losing his best friend, and now he has to basically be the leader of fucking ThunderClan.
Literally,
he has no clue what he's doing.
I had forgotten just how bad it was immediately.
Immediately. Blue Star's like, yeah, whatever, you pick all the patrols. Yeah, sure, you can pick the mentors for these kids. And he's like, girl, you named me leader, like, or you named me deputy like 2
minutes ago.
I do not know what I am doing.
And this is a little later in my notes, but I'll talk about it right here. Is like, I guess, you know, I kind of, we spoke about this a little bit when we were reading Blue Star's prophecy, but like Blue Star just straight up refusing to do anything when she's experiencing heavy grief or emotion does seem to be consistent with her character. And I had kind of forgotten just how similar to her like childhood gloominess in Blue Star's prophecy this era of her life was. And like I can understand and sympathize with it, but it is so frustrating to read and experience. And I think that's good character work because it's good to be frustrated by a fictional character. Yeah. But oh my God, throw my poor guy Fireheart a bone. He is trying so hard.
Yeah. Big shout outs to White Storm though. He's the goat.
White Storm King! King shit!
He is so like I'm not gonna say non-judgmental because a little bit, but like he's so gentle about it, and he's like, here, Fireheart, let me, like, don't you think this would be a good idea? And it's like, oh yeah, okay, and he just like kind of gives him that jump start he needs.
He gives him a little push, yeah. And I think it's such a good example of his character because like White Storm probably should have been the one that was named deputy.
Oh, easily.
Fireheart should not have been named deputy at this point. Fireheart hasn't even had a full apprenticeship yet because Cinderpaw was injured, was wounded, and so she had to switch to medicine cat duties. And Cloudpaw is still a very young apprentice at this point. So yeah, so White Storm like could act very bitter or frustrated or exasperated with the fact that he was sort of overlooked because Blue Star is in her feelings and decided that this orange boy is the only cat that she can trust. Yeah. But he handles it really well, and he so truly is like a father figure for Fireheart.
He is.
And it's so important to me.
Yeah. I really liked White Storm's presence. It feels like he definitely had a much stronger presence in this book than...
Yeah. His role as the like wise figure is like some of my favorite stuff in The Prophecies Begin.
I agree. I would like to talk about Cloudpaw.
Let's talk about Cloudpaw.
I can see both sides with Cloudpaw. Here's the thing. Because I have been a teacher to teenagers. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And sometimes they just do stupid shit to do stupid shit. Like, I commend Fireheart for keeping his cool that long. Mm-hmm. Because, you know, like, a lot of Cloudpaw's stuff is like, well, I just don't get that part of the code. And, like, I get that. But for things that aren't part of the code, like, literally listening to your mentor when he's trying to tell you, hey, this is how you're supposed to hunt, like, war flashbacks.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And I'm like,
Cloudpaw,
boy,
definitely.
If you don't... knock some sense into him myself. Like, god damn.
Yeah, he does definitely have problem student energy in some situations.
And that's the thing too, is because all the other apprentices love him.
Yes, they do.
And they're all like, oh, but we like Cloudpaw. And I'm like, Cloudpaw's so annoying.
I definitely shared that thought when I originally was reading, and I do agree that he has his annoying moments. But
I don't think he's like fully annoying. I'm just like, guys.
Yeah, no, I come off very soft on Cloudpaw at this point in my life because a lot of the stuff he says, he's like not going about it correctly, or correctly is like in air quotes. He's not going about it in a particularly mature way. He's going about it in like an I am a child way.
Yeah, or in a particularly like effective way. Like,
yes.
He's got the spirit, but he does not know how to execute.
Because he definitely has some things like, I think the line, "I like my life the way it is, and I'm not going to change it just to make you feel better," is a great line in general. Maybe in this exact application of like, I'm going to go take food from humans and you just got to be okay with it, not really like hitting in the way that like it is as an isolated sentence is hitting.
Right.
But I also feel like there's a lot of Fireheart misreading Cloudpaw's like disobedience. I feel like Cloudpaw is, in many situations, he really is trying hard. And there are moments when he is like on Fireheart's ass about something. But I think that because he is frustrating sometimes, Fireheart starts to get in that mode of being frustrated all the time. And especially once he comes back to the clan, I feel like Fireheart is so like still hard and suspicious on him, and I'm like, I could see he's really trying. I'm Scout, I'm one of the elders. I'm like, he's my boy. That's my boy. He's doing his best.
No, that's so true, because like the elders and the apprentices love Cloudpaw. All of the warriors are so like, much. Oh my god, dude. I haven't reached my elder era yet.
I think you also make a really good point of you having the background of having taught teenagers, which is just you got those war flashbacks going on.
I do. And he is like teenager age.
Big teenager in this one.
Huge teenager energy. Also, speaking of the elders,
there's a more coherent version of the elders' concern in this book.
You know what? I feel like we fucked up and we should issue a statement before episode 2 goes out. Don't read the elders' concern. It's a waste of your time. It may be 3 paragraphs, but it is a waste of your time.
I can't believe how it's just in this book. It's just here.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
And it's so much more like in character, and a little bit softer on Fireheart too.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a lot. They come a lot harder down on Blue Star. Like Blue Star, because Blue Star is the one who waited too long to do the thing and made the decision to do Fireheart. To appoint Fireheart as deputy. But yeah, when I started reading and that was like within moments of beginning the book, I was like, I can't believe this.
Yeah.
It's like the same scenario,
it's
too.
It's the exact same conversation.
It's so funny.
It truly, oh my god.
It did make for some comedy, though.
Yes, that is true.
I want to go back to Cloudpaw just for one moment.
Yeah, of course.
Because the other thing I wanted to say was how fascinating I find it that Fireheart is just not making the right arguments with Cloudpaw in a lot of situations. And it kind of goes both ways, that they just are like missing connections when they're essentially like, really, they should be on the same page with a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, because I think part of Fireheart's problem with addressing the situation was, well, that's the rule, and so that's why you have to follow it. Rather than like, okay, this is why the rule is the way it is. Like, think about the elders. You wouldn't want the elders that you like so much to go hungry because you ate while you were on patrol, or you left the food you caught out in the woods. So it's about community rather than yourself.
Yeah, he plays so much into like, this is what the code is and this is what the rules are. Instead of appealing to what Cloudpaw really cares about, which is the other cats around him. And I think that's a very real and very human situation when like talking to anybody, but especially I think when trying to communicate with younger people and you are like seen as an authority figure to them or a parental figure to them, because it can be really hard to parse and express those complex like concepts.
Yeah, and the nuance of rules and like why certain rules may be unfair, but we have to follow them anyway, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So I think that I think it's all very like it feels very real and is cool to see. But it's so interesting that with like so many other cats, Fireheart is really good at this. But with Cloudpaw specifically, he just really fumbles the bag a couple of times. I say that affectionately.
He fumbles a little bit in this book, I will say.
He also fumbles with Sandstorm at one point.
Yeah,
I whiffed that bad.
He whiffed, but she luckily is smitten and gets the fact that he is going through a lot.
Yeah, to be fair to him, he's going through it.
Sandstorm, I feel like, has just like such a good head on her shoulders because she's like,
I know, I love her.
She calls him out. She's like, you cannot fucking speak to me like that. And then she's immediately like, but I get it. I know why you spoke to me like that. Just don't fucking do it again.
Yeah.
Queen
shit.
I'm so glad we get more Sandstorm in this book. She was always a favorite of mine when I was young, and she continues to be a favorite of mine. Honestly, she, like, over the course of the series, she does not get as much time or attention in the narrative as I wish she did. Like, justice for Sandstorm, I feel like she gets left by the wayside when it comes to sort of this OG trio, quadrio, quartet, I guess. Quadrio isn't a word. But including Ravenpaw, I just love her. I think she's great. I do too. I really enjoy her. She's such a fun character, and she's so cute.
She's so cute.
Speaking of Ravenpaw alert. We get a Ravenpaw.
Ravenpaw alert! Woo! Woo! I love it when he shows up.
My little gay son.
There he is.
I don't really have anything to say about his role in this, except that I just love him. He's my boy.
He's so good.
He's just a good boy. Another cat I would like to talk about. This book is a lot of just like Fireheart's relationships and how they are affected by his stress.
Yeah, that's so true.
Because I would love to talk about Bramblekit.
Oh my god.
I don't know how many of our listeners are partaking TikTok, but the way Fireheart and Bramblekit interacted every single time was that fucking audio of like,
yo, why is he looking at me like that? What's up, little bud? Got a staring problem, pal?
Like what, dude? He's just looking at you. He's a baby.
Look at his face. Dumb little face.
He's thinking that this literal infant is planning his death.
It's
so funny. The paranoia is like, it's kind of comedic at this point because it's like, that's a child.
I know. I think the thing that makes this even funnier, or maybe worse, or both, I don't know. It confuses it so much for me because, like, reading this previously, I've always been like, Fireheart is acting like such a doofus about this child. It's a child. But then we did have fucking Broken Tail born with evil in his eyes.
Yeah, and I mean, we did
in
also have, hey, Pine Star, go kill your literal newborn child.
Go kill your son. So the unfortunate truth is that he's kind of like having his head on the swivel isn't the worst idea.
In the lore of the world,
Warriors, in the lore of Warriors universe, it's kind of coherent with the story and the way that the world works, which is so much to grapple with. But he's just a boy.
He's just a baby. Although I really did like that Fireheart is the one who saves him from the fire.
I think that's a really nice bit of catharsis for Fireheart.
Although, as we'll see, he's not done with Bramblekit.
With fearing the child.
Yeah. You guys will find out. Oh boy.
I will touch on, I'm hesitant to bring it up, but I'm going to touch on Fireheart and Spotted Leaf just for a moment.
Yeah.
It's just so weird. There's a lot of stuff in this book with Fireheart, like dreaming about Spotted Leaf and thinking about Spotted Leaf.
It's a complete 180 is the thing.
The thing that's so frustrating to me is how much it just feels like a plot contrivance versus any actual emotional connection. Like I'm not even coming at it from, it's so like out of place and bizarre and and like doesn't fit in with the rest of what we've seen, that I'm not even like, it's weird because he was a kid when he knew her or whatever. Because also we have a whole a whole episode about that.
Yeah.
And like, it's just weird that like he doesn't let it go, and this continues to go on for longer and longer. And so every time I read back through the series, it just drives me a little more batty, I think.
Yeah, because, after Spotted Leaf first died, she's very much like, those dreams are definitely more of like Fireheart getting these prophetic messages.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And there's an element of that to the dreams in this book, but then there's that, they just fucking shoehorn in like him talking about having a crush on her and being like, oh, well, maybe actually I like Sandstorm. And it's like,
yeah, the whole thing where he's like, what if I actually like Sandstorm and not Spotted Leaf? It's like, when did you like Spotted Leaf? And like a significant way. And also, she's dead, my guy.
Yeah, like she's been dead. You knew her for 2 months.
She's been dead. Clawface killed her and then also died for it, despite what Tiger Claw's Fury would have you say.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah. It's, I don't know. I guess I don't have anything more like interesting to say about it or smart to say about it. It's just,
yeah, it
makes the books worse to me. Just because it doesn't feel earned or necessary in any way.
Yeah. All right.
Is it time?
I don't want to.
I know.
I don't want to talk about it. Guys, I'm so sad. Yellowfang dies in this book, and it's really, really well written, but it's also fucking depressing as hell.
It's so sad.
Because
I don't want her to be gone.
Exactly. Well, and so the fire happens, and Fireheart has this crisis because he's like, oh my gosh, is Yellowfang gonna hate me because I saved Bramblekit instead of her? And so he's like regretting his decision. He's like, I should have saved Yellowfang, and he's like worried about her. And he finds her like as she's about to die, and on her deathbed, she's like literally confessing everything that he overheard in the last book. And it's just, it's like, oh my God, he's like the one she trusts, and she cares about him so much. And I would love for you to read off these quotes because they're just so good.
Yeah. She had a lot of banger quotes, but these two really stuck out to me. The first is, don't waste your time. I'm going to die whatever you do, but I'm not afraid. Yo, I want to go out like that.
Yeah.
And the second one is, I wish you had been my son, but StarClan gave me Broken Tail to teach me a lesson.
She say something like, I wish you'd been my son, but I could not have born a cat like you. StarClan gave me Broken Tail to teach me a lesson. And it's like, oh my God.
Oh, I think that might have been there for mine, but I just hadn't marked it down specifically. But yeah, I could not have born a cat like you.
That is
hurts.
Like even at her death, she's like, look, I know I was not a perfect person. Like I could not have raised or created someone as good as you. And it's like, girl, no, it's not true.
Please.
You're the best of us all.
You're the best of us.
You got dealt such a shitty hand. It was never your fault.
Yeah. I'm just sad about it. I don't have any other things to say about it. I'm just sad.
It's just sad, guys. It breaks my heart. She deserved everything, and I love her so much.
Yeah. I'm glad that in her last months, she got to experience what had to be some of like the most, the purest and most joyous moons of her life with Fireheart and with Cinderpelt.
Yeah, and Bluestar.
Bluestar.
She finally, she got to spend the last months of her life in a clan that, truly valued her. And with people who, did not give a shit about her past.
And that's so important to me, to her.
Yeah, and it makes me kind of think about, too, because, she was decently old, I think.
Yeah.
Not, so old she was about to be an elder, but, she was getting up there, and it just makes me think of like, I've known a couple people who have like adopted senior cats just to give them like those last couple months or years in a home where they are loved and taken care of. And I'm like, yeah, Yellowfang got that, and she deserved it.
Yeah. The wiki says she was 8 1/4 years old.
Okay.
Upon death.
That's,
which for a warrior cat is getting up there.
For a warrior cat, that's pretty damn old. For a regular cat, it's getting up there, but not quite.
For a regular cat, it's middle-aged.
Yeah.
For a warrior cat, it's about right. I love her. I miss her. She's in StarClan, but I miss her.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of her dying and Blue Star, we get some more evidence for Old Lady Yuri.
I am fully Old Lady Yuri pilled now. Because Blue Star straight up denouncing StarClan immediately after seeing Yellowfang's dead body and like wailing.
Yeah. And like, this is her last straw.
This is her last straw. Is this dead? Can she has a line that's like, how could StarClan allow this to happen? Yeah, I don't think I wrote it down specifically.
Because like, Blue Star had already been like questioning her faith this book.
Totally.
But like, this was it. This was like the last.
This was the thing that made her say, I walk alone. My dreams are my own now. Which also fucking fire. Good line. Damn.
Yeah, it was so good. How could StarClan do this? Have they no pity? I will never go to the Moonstone again. From now on, my dreams are my own. StarClan has declared war on my clan, and I shall never forgive them.
Go off, Queen.
Yeah. You know what?
Queen shit.
You know what? Blue Star was right.
Blue Star was right. She has dementia, but she's also right.
You guys have been getting a shitty deal.
Mm-hmm. They continue to get a shitty deal. I'm so mad about this all the time. StarClan, I'm so disillusioned with StarClan.
Yeah, I'm over their bullshit.
I'm so over StarClan, guys. But yeah, we talked eons ago in the Goosefeather episode, and I think also just throughout our conversations about Goosefeather and Goosefeather's deterioration, how we're seeing now how that begins to be mirrored with Blue Star. We will see it even more coming up in Dangerous Path. But I am very into the sort of theory that this is
partly genetic.
It is the whole thing. She is going through the horrors, but also I think there is a genetic predisposition that is making it more horror for her.
Because
like
it
sometimes
really is
seeming to be lost in her own body. Sometimes the paranoia, the cynicism.
She'll have like good days.
Yeah,
then
she has moments of clarity, and she has days when she. Is it at the beginning? Is it at the top of this book when she literally says, "Could you or Graystripe be the mentor to Cloudpaw?"
Not to Cloudpaw, to Ashpaw or Fernpaw.
Yes, that's right, to Ashpaw or Fernpaw. When Fireheart already has an apprentice in Cloudpaw, and Graystripe straight up does not live in the clan anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that's. I don't know if the Erins were writing with sort of that in mind, but I choose to add it to my personal readings.
Yeah.
Here, because I just think it adds a little extra richness to Blue Star's character.
I agree.
And to the world in general, in a way. While we're in the Blue Star corner, I will bring up a very specific, very personal gripe. When I was little, I shipped Blue Star and White Storm during The Prophecies Begin. And I'm just still a little bitter that they decided he's her nephew so that I can't do this anymore. Because she cares so much for him and he cares so much for her. And like, come on, guys. Why did you have to do me dirty like this? It's fine. I think their relationship as nephew and aunt is also very good.
Yeah, especially because she like basically like fostered him too.
Yeah, exactly. But when I was little, without context of the stuff that was written after the Prophecies Begin, since Prophecies Begin was first, that was my thing that I was like, oh, she loves him like romantically. And I think loving him familially is also really good. But it just always makes me laugh to think about. So I wanted to bring that up.
I love that. Only other thing I have to say about this book is what I messaged you earlier. Cliffhanger fucking ruled. I knew it was coming, and I was still like waiting for it. I was like, "Oh yeah, baby, here we go." He was like, "I'm gonna warn everybody about Tiger Claw," and then who the fuck shows up? Motherfucking Tiger Claw.
Motherfucking Tiger Claw.
Good.
Oh, it's such a good end of the book. I remember, you know, young scout, historical scout, reading this and like losing my shit, because you're, you know, 9 years old, 10 years old, whatever. You're reading this. You don't think that this is what's about to happen. To be that child again and to not know that Tigerstar is on his way.
I know. I wish I could remember my thoughts when I first read that, because I know I was probably like freaking the fuck out.
Yeah, I can't remember the specifics, but I do have like a distinct memory of reading that and being like, what? Like going like full on like, no way.
I know. Oh, it's so good.
It's so fun. Speaking of Tiger Claw, now Tigerstar.
All right, let's do this. I'm gonna start off by saying I never really cared for this manga when I was younger, and I still don't care for it now. I get wanting to show the background of a character who is affected very deeply by a major antagonist and who gives birth to two cats who later become very, very important players in the books. But like, I just don't, it doesn't do anything for me. Like, the amount that happens in these two books could have easily been in one to me. Like, I don't feel like there's enough plot to make it worthwhile to be sharing. Like, I don't feel like enough happens that makes Sasha deserve a book, which is kind of a harsh thing to say, but like, I don't feel like her story is interesting enough.
Yeah, I think the thing that it really suffers with for me is it would be I think it's a great concept, because the idea of seeing a substantial and interesting alternate view of Tigerstar is very cool. But this is just so flat. There's not a lot actually expressed between him and Sasha. There's not a lot that he says to explain or express his feelings to her.
Yeah.
Like, he even has a couple of attempts at like coercion with her, and even those are pitiful in comparison to the manipulation that we see him do in the book, in like the other books. Nothing that he does in here makes me feel like I would fall in love with him.
No, and the only thing that does is like completely glossed over, because there's like one panel where she's like, and then one night he takes me, when the sky is clear, he tells me about StarClan, and I'm like, show me that conversation. Show me what he says about StarClan that makes you so enamored. But instead we just get like one line and a panel, and I'm like, this is not convincing me of any romance.
The romance feels very, very and extremely thin. Like, it's very much she sees him and she's immediately like enamored with him, and she can't stop thinking about him. And I think if they had an impactful first meeting, that would work. Like, I feel for Sasha from the standpoint of being a character, because I think she's really suffering from poor character writing.
Yeah.
More than like she is a character. She as a character herself is frustrating.
Right.
Which is really surprising to me, considering that we've had some writing by, this is Dan Jolly again, and the manga that we've read by Dan Jolly, like leading up to this, we've had some that really resonated with us and we really enjoyed. So, I mean, I would assume this is probably an earlier one. This was released in 2008, which I feel like it's might be the second one after Scourge that was like actually published, but I can't remember.
Scourge was also 2008. So still love and respect you, Dan Jolly. Just don't think it's the best one you've done.
Yeah, it's not your best work, Dan Jolly. I believe in you overall. This is...
Go ahead.
It's very armchair psychologist of me. Dan Jolly comes from an American comic books background, and American comic books have a lot of troubles with female leads and women characters having interiority. And I just think it's kind of interesting that Sasha suffers so much from that in these books. And I don't know if there's actually anything behind that, but could be.
You know, we can't discount it.
There are internal biases that can permeate many layers of work. But in other news, there's a cat named Pioneer, but it's specifically not Pine Star, and
oh man.
I was so excited. I was like, Pine Star's here, and then it was he's not Pine Star. I'm
pretty sure,
but I'm glad that it wasn't Pine Star. I know. I think he's dead at
Pine
this
Star
point.
is dead at this point because he's going to be giving Tigerstar a life.
Yeah.
So he would be dead by the time Sasha would be around.
Would be meeting him. Yeah. So not a continuity error. Actual continuity error is that they do call Fireheart Firestar throughout this, but it is actually an error because this does all take place between Rising Storm and A Dangerous Path, which is very funny.
Oopsies.
Don't worry about that. Spoilers.
Don't worry about
as though we haven't already called Fireheart Firestar on multiple occasions.
Look.
It's not just you. I've also done it.
I feel like it's one of those spoilers that, like, at this point, it's not a spoiler. We all know. One of the literal books on our list is called Firestar's Quest. Like,
true.
Come on. If you didn't know.
Spoiler in the fucking name. Yeah, he is going to become the leader of ThunderClan.
God, I can't believe you would spoil it for me like that.
I'm so sorry.
I've been going into this blind, Scout.
I didn't know. What the fuck kind of name is Schnooky?
Schnooky?
Schnooky.
Yeah, Schnooky.
I guess it's Schnooky.
It's Schnooky. It's like a little term of endearment kind of thing.
I guess I was reading it with a short U instead of a long U.
It's a long U.
So I was like, Schnooky.
No, it's Schnooky.
Schnooky makes more sense. Like,
my little Schnooky pie. Stuff like that.
The reference I was about to make was like Snooki's Cookies, which is a very specific cookie like franchise that is in Los Angeles where I live.
Amazing.
But yeah, the spelling of it just really, SHNUKY just really threw me for a loop. I had to take like a full minute break to really like chew on that. I do like seeing Tigerstar reckon with the cognitive dissonance of hating kitty pets, but liking Sasha. But the unfortunate reality is that we see that in maybe like one scene.
Yeah, and then he's like, no, you know what? Actually, fuck you.
And then he's just like, fuck you. Yeah. Like the little moment where he's like, says to Sasha, never call yourself a kitty pet. You are not a kitty pet. You are a rogue. That shit is compelling to me.
Mm-hmm.
But we get that in like the one scene and that's it.
Yeah.
The line later on in the second of the two volumes that we read of Sasha going, that means I'm not nothing. That's right, Tigerstar. I'm not nothing is a good line, though.
Yeah, it is. I will also say the scene where she ends up in like the thrift store because she smells her late owner's clothes.
Yeah,
after they've been donated by the nursing home because he's passed away. That's fucked. They were fucked for that one because that's mean.
That's so painful.
Especially like when she's like so clearly trying to like just sleep on them and they're like, get the fuck out of here, cat. And she's like, what the hell?
What the hell? Her I'm so sad for Sasha from the standpoint of being a cat who lost her owners in that way, and it being so confusing. I'm always get very emotional when I think about cats trying to understand confusing and difficult human situations.
Scout, me too. I used to I think I've mentioned this on the podcast before. I used to volunteer at a cat shelter, and the cats that come in because their elderly owners had to move to assisted living or passed away, and the way these cats behave, it broke my heart. Like, luckily, some of them, I was there for long enough that I got to see some of them come out of their shells and like actually show like their personalities, but like the way a cat looks when it does not understand why it is no longer with its loving owner literally fucking hurts. It hurts so bad.
Not a cat specifically, but as we have said before, Zelda dog, my dog is kind of an honorary cat in many ways. And we know that she was also forfeited by her owner, specifically because the owner could no longer have a pet in their apartment. And she came to me like extremely well behaved, extremely well trained, never had any accidents in the house, never got into food or trouble, never chewed anything, was like the most polite dog in the world. And it makes me heartbroken to think about that she was loved so deeply, and because of the circumstances of human life had like that person had to say goodbye to her because she's such a special little dog.
Yeah.
I often put out into the universe that I hope that Zelda's previous owner knows that she is the happiest, most spoiled little dog in history, breaking the law and getting on the couch without a blanket on it all the time.
And literally like absolutely beloved by people all over the country. Because all of our friends are we all adore Zelda Dog.
Zelda Dog has a fan club, and my last note about Tigerstar and Sasha is that at first I was like, it seems a little far-fetched that a single cat would be such a draw for tourists when it comes to this tour boat. But I was thinking about it, and I absolutely... If there was a cat on board the boat, I would be like, fuck yes, I'm going to that boat.
Yeah, dude. I've gone into bookstores because, I would go into a bookstore anyway. But I have, had preferences for particular stores because they have a shop cat. Like, I will...
If there's a cat, I'm there. If there's a
cat, I will go there. I will be there. Let me see the cat.
It's so important. Let's go to the Erin Corner?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. This was the last Kate Carey book for the first arc, so we will be with Cherith Baldry for both Dangerous Path and Darkest Hour. I didn't have too much with regards to the writing of Rising Storm, but I did find that Yellowfang's death was Kate's least favorite death to write, because Kate Carey, like all of us, loves Yellowfang so much. The quote from her is, "It just broke my heart. It was all Vicky's fault," which is extreme writing partner energy.
Oh my god! Yeah, the amount of times I send somebody who I'm working on a writing project with, hey, what if I did this? And I just get a "fuck you" in response.
Fuck you. Yeah, it's so real.
Fuck you, do it kind of response. I can't believe.
Exactly. The old "I hate it, I love it." But I did also finally remember to look up what book it was that the Erins used to decide the herbs and what herbs do what. It is called Culpepper's Herbal Remedies, or Culpepper's Complete Herbal, consisting of a comprehensive description of nearly all herbs with their medicinal properties and directions for compounding the medicines extracted from them. Which is an extremely 1880 name for a book. It seems to have all been compiled and published in the 1880s, but the man himself, Mr. Culpepper of the Herbal Remedies, lived in the early to mid 1600s. So I'm assuming that it was a bunch of shit that he wrote at that point, and then somebody later found it all and compiled it.
Fascinating.
But that's where we get our like herb lore.
I fucking love that.
It's great.
Oh my god.
There is
this actually does remind me. So Eric and I have been rewatching The Hunger Games. So because, you know, the new movie came out, everybody's talking about the book and the movie and stuff. But yes, I was like, oh yeah, the Hunger Games actually kind of rule. Let's get back into that is kind of what we both were thinking. We watched the first movie yesterday, and there's a scene where after Katniss gets stung by all of the hornets, she wakes up and she's covered in leaves. I had to refrain from looking over at Eric and being like, they do this shit in the Warrior Cats series.
It's so real. Just covered in leaves. Oh, put a leaf on it. Fix all your ailments. Oh, that's really funny.
Oh, it was so funny. It was like,
oh, that's so good.
That's Warrior Cats coded. And I was like, if I say that, Eric is going to turn off this movie.
No, Eric, join us.
One day.
As we talked about Dan Jolly earlier. We kind of covered that generally. Like Dan Jolly's writing that we've read previously, don't feel like this is his strongest work. Still some really good like moments, but overall not as consistent. The illustrator for the Tigerstar and Sasha manga is named Don Hudson, and he does a lot of superhero comics, which I think shows in the style of the pages. Yeah, I don't want to be a person that really like comes down on somebody's art style, but not particularly my thing here with these. Definitely prefer some of the other illustrators that we've had so far. I will say that I have seen some of Don's concepts where it's just the lines, and just this is like art brain scout coming out. I think that this would have looked better if it didn't have so much heavy screen toning, because the pieces that Don did were purely like the line art, and they were a lot like clearer and a lot easier to read and like less busy and just generally looked better. So I think the screen tone work, especially on Tiger, we got it. Tigerstar's eyebrows are so bad. I'm sorry. They're so bad. They're so bad,
gamers.
Love
to see some of these line work things that you're talking about, because like I have never cared for the arts, like, and you know, this is just a personal preference. I'm not trying to say like this fucking sucks. I've never cared for the particular style of Don Hudson's cats, especially the cover of Into the Woods, the little cat portrait.
I think that the covers were done by a different artist, which is an interesting little
interesting.
Yeah, the cover designer was somebody named Tina Corrales.
Okay.
Yes,
sorry,
I
Tina,
agree that
I can't.
Sorry, Tina. It's not. I'm sure you're fine. But it's not.
It's
not for me.
We don't care for it. Yeah, but like even in the books, I'm like some of these cats. I'm like that's not a fucking cat.
It's not. No.
Like,
sometimes the other thing is sometimes sometimes it's like this is a photo of a cat that was traced over.
Yes, that's very much what it feels like sometimes. A lot of the like this fucking panel of pine. I'm sorry. They're so fucking scrunkly.
They are so scrunkly. They have so many like lines in their faces. They got a lot of extra lines in there. They don't need
all these extra lines. Like here's a really good one of Sasha, like her sleeping.
Yeah, some of them are really nice, and then some of them are just not.
Some of them
not
it's just like, hey, when you're trying to give them expressions that are way too human, I think is when we get the problem.
Why does the Ukrainian language edition have a fucking sickest cover? This just keeps happening.
Yeah, what the hell is going on with all these Eastern European covers? But yeah, so you know, it's I don't particularly care for the art, but like it makes sense that the artist does a lot of superhero comics, because it does not feel like, it feels like someone trying to draw realistic cats in a manga style, and the two styles can't work together.
Yeah.
It's the same beef I have with a lot of video games, where it's like, you're trying to make the people look too realistic. Like, either go fully stylized or, like, put your whole pussy into making them look realistic.
Yeah, you got to do one or the other. Here's a piece that is, I believe, of one of the kits that we'll be meeting next time. But like, it's really very much graphic. Like,
yeah, that's a lot better.
And I feel like that feels a lot better. I would have liked to see more of the stuff sort of in that genre. But
well,
yeah,
we can't always get what we want.
No, and it's still a good still a fun time to look through, and still some great great pages. He looks like a very nice man. There's a picture of him on the wiki.
Oh, good.
Of him just like with some Spider-Man comics that he's clearly drawing, and he just looks nice.
Oh, that's nice. Well, we'd like to go and share tongues.
Yeah, let's share tongues. Tell me about the fans.
Well, so first of all, I'm not going to find any Tigerstar and Sasha vids until the end, because we are not quite done with her story yet. Couldn't really find...
we got one more.
I couldn't really find anything for Rising Storm, which was a shame. But I do think a lot of sort of the growth was very internal, and like there were a couple of like really big moments, but I don't think there was anything like that was catching enough people to like do their own just that for Rising Storm. I'm sure there are big scenes from it in other character focused ones, which we'll talk about like when we get to the end of this arc. I'm gonna go through and look for a bunch of like Prophecies Begin ones. But Tumblr, we got a couple things. Old Lady Yuri strikes again. Muffin Apologist put out pretty gay that Yellowfang's death was the final straw for Blue Star. Amen. We completely appreciate you. Thank you.
I am always saying this.
Join us. Join us. Next up, we have Fireheart going through it. Bookworm Inspiration posted Fireheart desperately trying to hold the clan together, the one singular cat standing between it and complete chaos with zero idea what he's doing, and then it's that image of Charlie Day from It's Always Sunny with the fucking conspiracy board background.
That is so real.
Like, it is so real, because he's just trying so hard and he's like, I don't know what I'm doing, fam.
I don't know what I'm doing. He's so tired. Like the man doesn't get to sleep.
He really doesn't.
Please.
Because, like, the one time he does get to sleep, he gets these dreams, and then another time he gets to sleep and he's woken up by fucking fire. So, like,
yeah,
let him rest.
Let him rest.
There's some great art of the forest fire and of Fireheart saving Bramble Kit. There's apparently a Star Wars novel called Rising Storm that I think came out fairly recently. So the more I went down the tag, the more it was just, like, Star Wars stuff, which is fine. Because I like Star Wars, despite its flaws. Rising Storm, I actually am curious. Star Wars. Oh yeah, it came out in 2021.
Oh, hell yeah.
So, that would explain it.
What color would Fireheart's lightsaber be?
Ooh. I think he'd have green.
I have an initial... yeah, green is also what I was thinking. Yeah,
he would have a green one. Gray Stripe would have a blue one. Sandstorm would probably have a yellow one.
Yeah, I was going to say Sandstorm with, like, the yellow or the really, like, pale whitey ones.
I saw Warrior's Last Words in there.
Shout out. We love Warrior's Last Words.
Then a couple of folks did some redraws of the Tigerstar and Sasha manga, or at least some panels where they made them, like, a little more stylized. Quite fond of those.
Yeah, they've got, like, some nice color. The like, style of the cats is really nice. God, I'm looking at Tigerstar's fucking triangles again. It's so much. Sorry, I'll stop. But these are great redraws.
Yeah, I do really like them. There's also I found someone. There's a line in.
God,
there's a line in the book, the Tigerstar and Sasha manga, that's her like showing off in front of Tigerstar. And it says, but the look on that big, handsome cat's face is priceless. And it just is the most unflattering Tigerstar image
drawing of Tigerstar,
ever.
yeah.
And somebody made a sticker that says that panel with their own drawing of Tigerstar.
Yeah, but and like even he's totally wall-eyed.
Yeah, he's like wall-eyed.
He's frowning.
It's so funny.
It's so good.
I would love that sticker if they ever made that and sold it. I would buy one because wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's
my
really
God.
good.
It's so funny. Yeah, so that's Tumblr. A lot of memeing.
I love it when we get the memes. They make me so happy.
So fucking funny. Let's see. AO3, we had 12 works tagged for Rising Storm, but unfortunately most of them were reviews or theory crafting, like why was it called Rising Storm? Little short essays and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
2 human AUs, but not the one that we had been talking about a lot of in Dawn of the Clans. I don't see those anymore.
Oh, they must have fallen off. Goodbye, King.
I know. I kind of want to go back and see like when the last time they posted was. I did not get to read this one yet, but there is a fic that somebody wrote about a bonding moment between Graystripe and Crooked Star, which I think would be a very interesting conversation.
Yeah.
So I am probably going to read that one tonight because it's like Fireheart overhearing Graystripe and Crooked Star talking while they're, taking haven at River Clan's camp. So I feel like that's probably going to be a really good fic. There are 12 works for Tigerstar that are tagged with Tigerstar/Sasha as a romantic pairing, but not really very many with any like focus on their pairing. Just like this is a background pairing that is going to be in the story. It is not like a story about them. One of them in the summary had something about Darkstripe having a crush on Tigerstar.
I mean, he does.
He does. I also put Slay for this one, which is, I think it is a retelling of Warriors, but as Star Wars?
Yes, and I'm obsessed with it.
Because it says after the defeat of Darth Tigris.
Darth Tigris is so good.
The renewed Jedi Alliance, known as the Sacred Four, works hard to return the galaxy to a state of peace and order. Yeah, I think this is fascinating.
I love
Jedi
this.
Master Russet Fur. I'm loving all of this. There's a lot of like shipping Sasha with other female characters. We have Russet Fur here. There's 3 fics for Golden Flower and Sasha, which I think is fascinating.
I do love the idea of your 2 ex-wives becoming a thing.
Exactly. I think it's so juicy.
You also have here Leopard Star and Sasha with 4 question marks. I bet we're gonna get some of that in the next one because Sasha does stay with
River Clan
for a bit. I think Sasha deserves to be a lesbian.
I agree. Like there's so many like of her with other female cats, and I think it's great. Sasha herself has 45 works tagged with her, so good for her.
Hell yeah, Sasha.
But that's about all I found. I can't wait to read that fic tonight. I think it's gonna be a nice little read.
I mean, just considering that the scene over the credits sequence of the AMV, the Crooked Star AMV called Amen, drives me near tears. Like a version of that is a fic is definitely gonna make me cry probably.
Yeah.
Warrior Cat of the Week then?
I think so, yeah.
All right, let's take it there. My Warrior Cat of the Week is White Storm.
Naturally.
He's my man's. He's supporting Fireheart so hard. There's just some really nice moments between him and Fireheart in this book. And I'm just a big White Storm fan. And I love it when he's around.
I do too. I think he's a great guy. I said women's rights this week.
Ooh.
Sandstorm, my queen.
Yeah! Sandstorm!
God, I love her so much. I feel like I didn't appreciate her as much as I should have when I was a kid. I'm like fully in on the Sandstorm train. She is my girl. I love her. I will defend her. She has that sort of sass between her and Fireheart that Graystripe and Silverstream had.
Yes.
And I love it
absolutely.
so much. I really loved how she was just like very subtly like, well, if you ever want me to catch you a rabbit, you just gotta say so. Like, ask me out, you fucking dumbass.
No man in Warrior Cats can ask a woman out.
Well, Graystripe did. It's the orange ones.
Graystripe did.
The orange ones
It's
can't do it.
It's the orange ones can't do it. Greywing also couldn't, though.
Well, Greywing had his own problems. We're not going to talk about that. My sweet boy.
Greywing. My sweet boy. Sandstorm Queen.
I loved her. I loved seeing so much more of her this time. It was great.
Yeah. I'm excited to see more of her in the future as well. I like that it's the storm corner this week. We got White Storm and Sandstorm.
Corner. Hell yeah. Good for
and
them.
also Mentor and Apprentice, because Sandstorm was White Storm's apprentice.
Oh, that's so sweet.
I love them.
I love them too. Man, I can't wait for the next book. I'm gonna have so much to say.
Oh, it's exciting.
The next one is like burned into my brain as a child. I will never forget it. Should we send our folks off?
Yeah, let's send everybody out. Listen, everyone. If you've got thoughts, opinions, questions, or memes to share with us, you can write to us at pawsandclawspod@gmail.com. That's paws as in what a cat has, claws as in the part of speech, pod as in podcast. We are also on Twitter at Paws and Claws and on Tumblr at Paws Clause Pod. And if you're 18 years or older, you can come join us on Discord, which will be linked in the show notes. You can find me on Twitter, Tumblr, and Blue Sky at Humble Goat, and you can see the art that I do, including our podcast cover art, at scoutwilkinson.myportfolio.com. Links to my portfolio and my Ko-fi page are also in the show notes.
And you can find me in the bog, but also on Twitter at plot_twists, on Blue Sky at plot-twists, or on Tumblr at antique-romantic. Our next episode will be out in 2 weeks, where we will discuss The Prophecies Begin, Book 5, A Dangerous Path. Read along by buying the book from a local bookstore or checking a copy out from your local library. Until then, dear listeners, may StarClan guide your paws.